Nature. It's not just the trees, seas, and mountains we see. Our world is filled with wonders that amaze us at every corner. Sometimes colorful lights dance across the sky, sometimes the seas glow in the darkness of night, and as humanity, we still don't fully understand many of these phenomena. Today, I'm going to tell you about the 7 most fascinating events in nature. If you're ready, let's begin our journey. 1. Bioluminescence, glowing seas. You're standing by the sea at night. The waves are crashing gently onto the shore, but there's something different. Each wave glows as if it's carrying millions of tiny stars, sparkling in shades of blue and green. This natural phenomenon is known as bioluminescence. It is the result of a fascinating chemical reaction called chemiluminescence, produced by certain marine organisms. Inside these organisms, a light-producing molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen, aided by an enzyme called luciferase. This reaction releases energy in the form of visible light. These mesmerizing light shows can transform entire coastlines into glowing dreamscapes, often seen in places like the Maldives, the Luminous Lagoon in Jamaica, Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, and Taiwan's Matsu Islands. Scientists are still working to mimic these natural light-producing systems, exploring their potential in medicine for imaging and diagnostics, in security for non-electric illumination, and even as a sustainable light source. For now, witnessing bioluminescence in person remains a magical reminder of just how creative nature can be. 2. Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. A massive light show in the sky, shades of green, purple, and pink ripple as if painted by an invisible brush. The Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, occurs when charged particles from the sun interact with the Earth's magnetic field. During solar storms and flares, the sun ejects these particles into space at millions of kilometers per hour. When they reach Earth, our planet's magnetic field channels them toward the polar regions. There, they collide with oxygen and nitrogen molecules in the atmosphere. Oxygen, depending on the energy of the collision, produces green or red light. Nitrogen creates blue or purple tones. The best places to witness this natural wonder include Norway, Finland, Sweden, Canada, Alaska, and Iceland. In the southern hemisphere, its counterpart is called the Aurora Australis, or Southern Lights. Throughout history, different cultures have given their own interpretations. The ancient Vikings believed the lights were the glimmers of swords swung by the gods during battle. Some Native American tribes saw them as the spirits of their ancestors dancing in the sky. In medieval Europe, they were sometimes feared as omens of war or disaster. Yet, anyone who has seen it with their own eyes will tell you, it remains a breathtaking, almost mystical experience. 3. Fire rainbows, circumhorizontal arc. Have you ever seen a rainbow lying flat across the sky? Not arching overhead like a traditional rainbow, but stretching horizontally, painted in fiery tones of orange, red, and yellow. This striking natural phenomenon is known as the circumhorizontal arc, often called a fire rainbow. It occurs when sunlight passes through hexagonal ice crystals suspended in thin cirrus clouds, high in the upper atmosphere. The light enters one side of the crystal and refracts, bends, out through another, splitting into a spectrum of vivid colors. For a fire rainbow to appear, the conditions must be just right. The sun must be high in the sky, at least 58 degrees above the horizon. The cirrus clouds must contain perfectly aligned, flat, plate-like ice crystals. Because this alignment is rare, fire rainbows are most often spotted during the peak of summer and in certain latitudes, such as the United States, parts of southern Europe, and occasionally Asia. When it does appear, it can last from a few minutes to several hours, depending on cloud stability. Photographers and sky watchers consider it a treasure, not only for its beauty, but for its fleeting, elusive nature. Some cultures even see fire rainbows as symbols of transformation or good fortune, believing that such a rare sky event carries a special message from nature. 4. Blood-red lakes, the transformation of salt lakes. Some lakes, especially during the peak of hot summer months, undergo a stunning transformation, turning a deep, almost surreal shade of crimson red. This eerie yet mesmerizing sight is caused by microscopic life forms known as halophilic algae and certain species of halobacteria. These organisms thrive in extreme, high salinity environments where few other forms of life can survive. As the water evaporates under intense heat, the salt concentration increases, creating the perfect conditions for these microbes to flourish. To survive, they produce carotenoid pigments, the same family of compounds that give carrots their orange color. These pigments not only protect them from harmful sunlight but also turn the water an intense red or pink hue. Famous examples include Lake Hillier in Australia, with its bubblegum pink waters, Lake Redba in Senegal, known for its rich red tones, and Turkey's Salt Lake, which shifts between white, pink, and deep crimson depending on the season. Despite its strange color, the water is generally harmless to humans. In fact, in some locations, tourists swim or float in it, drawn not only by the color but by the high buoyancy caused by its extreme salt levels, similar to the Dead Sea. 5. Volcanic lightning. Volcanic eruptions are already among nature's most spectacular displays: roaring explosions, fountains of molten lava, and massive plumes of ash. But sometimes, amid the chaos, the sky itself puts on an even more dramatic performance: lightning flashing through the volcanic cloud. This rare phenomenon is known as volcanic lightning. It occurs when ash, rock fragments, and gas particles are violently ejected high into the atmosphere. As they collide and rub against each other, they build up enormous static electrical charges, similar to what happens in a thunderstorm, but on a far more explosive scale. When these charges become too great to contain, they discharge as blinding bolts of lightning, streaking across the ash plume. The effect is both terrifying and mesmerizing, a combination of raw geological power and atmospheric electricity. One of the most famous examples occurred in 2009, when photographers captured breathtaking images during the eruption of Alaska's Redoubt volcano. The scene looked almost otherworldly, lightning bolts illuminating the ash cloud against a backdrop of fire and smoke. Scientists study volcanic lightning not only to understand the physics behind it but also to develop better early warning systems for aviation safety, as ash clouds can be extremely hazardous to aircraft. 6. Frozen bubbles, soap bubbles in extreme cold. Imagine blowing a soap bubble on a freezing winter day. As it drifts through the air, the thin film begins to sparkle, then, within seconds, it crystallizes and freezes solid. This happens when temperatures drop below -20 degrees Celsius. In such extreme cold, the water in the soap mixture freezes almost instantly, forming delicate ice crystals that spread across the surface. These crystals create intricate, snowflake-like patterns, making each frozen bubble a tiny work of art. The effect is even more magical when sunlight catches the frozen surface, causing it to shimmer with rainbow-like colors. For photographers and science enthusiasts, it's a rare and fleeting spectacle, one that disappears as quickly as it appears when touched or warmed. 7. Underwater waterfalls, the mystery of Mauritius. In the Indian Ocean, off the southwest coast of Mauritius, lies one of nature's most fascinating illusions. From above, it appears as though a massive waterfall is plunging deep beneath the surface of the sea, an impossible sight that leaves first-time viewers in awe. In reality, this is not water falling, but sand and silt being drawn downward by powerful underwater currents. The ocean floor near this spot drops away sharply into deeper waters, and the movement of the currents creates the illusion of a waterfall tumbling into the abyss. This spectacle can only be truly appreciated from a bird's-eye view, often captured by drone or aerial photography. From the ground level, or at sea, it simply appears as ordinary ocean, hiding its secret from those without the right vantage point. The Underwater Waterfall has become one of Mauritius's most iconic natural landmarks, attracting photographers, travelers, and scientists alike. It's a reminder of how our eyes can be deceived, and how nature often uses light, depth, and movement to create breathtaking illusions. Nature is far more creative than we imagine. Each of these phenomena is both a scientific and artistic masterpiece. Perhaps that's why protecting it is not just a responsibility, but a necessity. Which of these 7 wonders would you most like to see? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss together. See you in the next video.